What is going on, new money? What if I told you that I think I found a potential 10 to 100x crypto gem? It can also help you earn up to 1,000 to 10,000% APY on coins you're already holding, and they have an airdrop opportunity every 100 days. This is a real protocol generating real revenue, and in this video, I'm going to be going over it. The token is AlphaFi. It's on the SUI chain. I'm going to be doing a quick overview of the token itself, some tokenomics, as well as the protocol and how it can help you earn some money. Of course, guys, none of this is financial advice. Please always do your own research. I'm just some dude in a hammock letting you know what they think of this token. So let me know what you guys think in the comments, and let's go ahead and get straight into the video. I'm going to switch my screen over. All right, first I want to show you guys the website and really just give a brief overview over what AlphaFi is, what the protocol does. If you go to their website, alphafi.xyz, you'll see that they claim they're SUI's premier yield optimizer. And to give just a basic understanding of what AlphaFi is doing or what a yield optimizer is, we are essentially giving them some liquidity, some tokens, some money, whatever, and they are putting it in liquidity pools for us, and they are optimizing the ranges that our money is sitting in those liquidity pools. So again, without getting too deep, if you're putting money into a liquidity pool, that is allowing for trades to happen, and you're providing liquidity for different trades to happen on DeFi protocols. And in exchange, you're earning a small percent fee for every trade that happens using your liquidity. So you can spread it out over a very wide range, or you can put it in very tight, narrow ranges. But the problem is that you'll have to keep readjusting those ranges as the tokens go out of those ranges. So what AlphaFi is doing at a very fundamental level, they're taking the liquidity for us, they are managing it, and then what's really unique about AlphaFi is they're actually auto compounding the money that we're earning or the yields that we're getting on the tokens. They're stacking it on top of itself. That's what auto compounding is. As frequently as every 20 minutes that they collect the yield, they're putting it on top of itself and then using that in the liquidity pools to then generate you even more yield, because the way that the yields and the fees work is the more of the total liquidity pool is actually your money, the more of the fees you're going to generate from that liquidity pool, or when people made swaps with it anyways. So at a very high level, that's what AlphaFi is doing, and that's how they're able to advertise or generate some of the APY that they're showing. I'm going to go over in a second here. All right, let's get back to the action. If you go to alphafi.xyz, click on the app button, it's going to take you into the actual app, and you can see the protocol and just how relatively simple it is to use or clean the user interface is. Something that I want to point out to you guys is that you can actually sort the APY by clicking this button here, and you can see I'm lucky enough to get into one of the top pools, which is actually generating over 10,000% APY over the last 24 hours. And something that I do just want to touch on is, for example, if you click in here, they tell you a bit about the strategy, how you're earning the money that you are, and you can actually see more specifics if you click into the advanced view. And then you can see actually what is really going on here is that it's actually very unlikely that you will ever earn this APY. But what they're saying, or what's actually happening here, is that if you take this daily APY that I have gotten on average over the last 24 hours, and you extrapolate that out the next 365 days, auto compound it, then that is what you would get for your APY. So really, this figure, pretty much every time you refresh the page, it's going to be slightly different. But still, over the last day, this liquidity pool has earned over 1.5%, which is absolutely absurd, honestly. But again, it's going to fluctuate all the time. You can see it, the last time that it's auto compounded for me was about 60 minutes ago. And if you check out again, the website, just so smooth, so clean. It shows you exactly what they're doing, the strategy. I guess a good thing to point out or to note here is that they take 20% of the performance fee, or that's essentially of the yield that you're generating. So of that yield, of the money or tokens that they're auto compounding for you, they're actually taking 20% of what you're earning and keeping it for themselves. And I'm going to show you guys exactly what they're doing with that money in a second. And last thing I'll point out before going into the tokenomics and some things that kind of make me iffy about the platform as well is that it's really cool. You don't even have to deposit 2 tokens a lot of times, and you can still earn some really high APY, or annual percentage yield. You can oftentimes deposit just one-sided tokens and still get some pretty insane yields. Let's see what the highest yielding one is. Wall, you can earn up to 86% And I've seen this number as high as over 100%, 120%, and some of the other tokens as well. Even USDC, you can earn some pretty impressive yield. Just want to show you guys this before I go into the tokenomics themselves. Notice this is going to come in handy later when I'm talking about the tokenomics and the airdrops and how we can potentially earn some of this airdrop money every 100 days. So let's go ahead and get into just some actual token history itself so you can see how big this opportunity is. Then I'll do tokenomics, talk about the airdrops. And then I'll end on the things that I'm a little bit iffy about on the protocol, and I'll do a quick summary. So let's go ahead and get into the token and how it's been doing, just a little bit of history background for you guys. If we jump into CoinMarketCap here, just to get an idea of the opportunity here, you can see Alpha, the token, is currently listed under a $14 million market cap. Of all of the cryptos in existence, it's currently ranked around number 5,000. Lastly, just to get our bearings so you guys can see, the token's only about 8 months old at the time of recording. They hit an all-time high of around $5.40, an all-time low of around 84, 82 cents, somewhere in that range. And we're currently sitting at the time of recording around $1.50. There's only a 10 million max supply of the token, and you're going to see just how much of that supply is already out in a second. Let's go ahead and get into the tokenomics actually. Just to jump right in, I'm not going to read all of this for you guys. If you want to pause your screen and check it out, I definitely recommend reading this. It's very well laid out, very simple. But some of the things that I want to point out here, like I said, is that they have a 10 million total token allocation. About 60% of that is going towards the community as well as the liquidity pools. About 10% is going to the devs, 25% to the team, and around 5% was for the liquidity on the exchanges at the time of the token generation event, which happened around 300 days ago. The TLDR, according to them, is that around 1.5 million alpha tokens are minted at the token generation event. For liquidity and operations, around 42,500 alpha tokens are minted every day for the first 100 days. And then after that, minted alpha halves every 100 days. So around 75% of the tokens minted are spent towards the protocol. You can see in the vesting schedule here, I think what's important to highlight, again, I'm just going to cut to the chase, is that after about 1 year, they're going to have around 90% of the total tokens in the circulating supply. And then the last 2 years, they're going to be releasing the last 10% of the supply. So it was a very quick vesting schedule, and it's still a good time to get in my opinion, especially with this event coming up. Here you guys can check out the vesting schedule, the unlock schedule for the team. You can see that they have that cliff coming up relatively soon. So look alive for some volatility. And some other things I want to highlight here is the token utility. You can see that Alpha itself is given out as a reward token, and it's given to liquidity providers. That's us, the people using the platform. You can see it also holds some governance features. You can use it to vote. There are periodic airdrops. And then, of course, some of the performance fee is going towards stabilizing the protocol itself. Here you can see the benefits of the token for the users and the protocol. So of the 20% of the fees that are getting generated from us, you can see around 50% of it is going back to the Alpha airdrop holders. So that is what we just saw here, this $1,100,000. That is 50% of the revenue that they have generated from this 20% performance fee. So now tying things all together here, you can see this token that is only valued at around $13 million is generating around $1 million in revenue for themselves every 100 days. So roughly, again, if we want to take that out the next year and say times 3, around $3 million in revenue, if not more than that, $3.5 million in revenue is going to this token that is valued at this current time at only $13 million market cap. And you get through the rest of the tokenomics here, and then I'll talk about the airdrop and we'll wrap up this video. You can see that that 5% of the money is going towards the Alpha SUI token to deepen the liquidity pool. About 20% is going towards Bitcoin, USDC as a financial reserve, and around 25% of the revenue is going towards the team for ongoing development. Now let's just do an overview of the airdrop. Some of the highlights are the 50% of the revenue that the platform is generating is going to people who are staking. And the more alpha you stake and the longer you stake it compared to all of the other people that have their alpha staked, then the more of this actual alpha airdrop you're going to be receiving. So here you can see the eligibility requirements just require you to stake alpha in the vault, and you can see that they have transparency and accessibility. They let you know know how much you're getting way ahead of time. Some other important things to note is that they do have their own liquid staking token, stSUI. I'm not going to read over all of that. If you guys want to pause your screen, check it out. There are some ways that they have said they go about differentiating themselves from some of the other liquid staking tokens on SUI. If you guys don't know, this essentially helps to stabilize their platform and stabilize liquidity pools during times of extreme volatility. And just to go ahead and keep this train rolling, there are some risks involved, just like anything. Whenever you're giving your money to anybody, let alone a brand new platform or a relatively new platform on a relatively new chain, of course, there are going to be risks. So here are some of the risks that AlphaFi themselves lists. They, of course, are smart contract risks. There are always bad actors trying to take advantages and any flaws in the code and smart contracts. There are market risks, meaning, of course, the price of all of these different coins can go up or down, and we can acquire permanent or impermanent loss. There are regulatory risks, depending on where you're living. There are operational risks, of course, that can happen with this protocol and the different services that they rely on. And then there's also underlying asset risk. Besides that, another thing that's been a little bit iffy for me recently is just trying to figure out who the actual founders are. I have been able to find some people on the team on X for AlphaFi, but I haven't really been able to find too much on the founder themselves. It's really only a LinkedIn is the main thing that I can find. You can find some background on the platform itself, but you really can't find too much besides a LinkedIn on the actual founders themselves. Like I said, I could find some employees on X, but let me know if you guys could find anything on these people. Also, let me know your guys' thoughts on this platform. If you guys appreciated this type of video as well, if you guys want me to do more of this type of content, please let me know. Give this a thumbs up, drop a comment down below. Of course, guys, it's been everything from me. This is Joe from New Money Crypto. We all know there's smart money, dumb money, old money. Years from now, they're going to be calling you new money. Until then, I'm going to catch you guys on the video soon. Much love. Peace.